Hello students, welcome to your first session of first PUC NCERT chapter number 18, that is body fluids and circulation. Why it is necessary that you have body fluids in your body? The thing is, these help in clearing the waste substances from the body and circulating the good fluids which is necessary for cellular metabolism. That is why it is necessary that a small organism to a complex organism contains this body fluids. When it comes to smaller organisms like Sporifera or Coelenterata, they use their water vascular system which helps in circulating the harmful substances out of the body and takes up the required substances which are necessary for the cells. Where in higher organisms you can find that this circulation process is carried out by a fluid connective tissue which we call blood. So, blood contains different components which helps in easy circulation in case of a human body. When it comes to blood, it contains of fluid, matrix, plasma, formed elements, etc. So, here the blood, it contains of main component that will be plasma. So, plasma has a color of straw. Straw ant helidre hay andre ona hullina color irutte which will be lightish yellow in color. So, this plasma, it contains of almost 90 to 98% of water and 6% of proteins. So, this plasma have a fluidity which gives the blood ability to easily move between the cells. So, as it contains 90 to 98% of water or 6 to 7% of proteins. When it comes to the proteins, there are three different components or proteins which are present. Those will be fibrinogen, albumin and globulin. Fibrinogen, these help in coagulation or clotting. Coagulation or clotting of blood is done because of the presence of this fibrinogen protein. Whereas albumin, these help in maintaining the osmotic balance. They help in maintaining the osmotic balance. Last one is the globulin. These are defensive in function. So, here plasma is a component of blood which is made up of 90 to 98% of water and 6% of proteins. The proteins would be fibrinogen, albumin and globulin, where fibrinogen helps in coagulation or clotting of blood, albumin maintains the osmotic balance, globulin are defensive in nature. So, that is about three different types of proteins which are present in the plasma. Apart from this, plasma also contains some of the minerals like sodium, calcium, magnesium, bicarbonates as well as chlorine, and also carbohydrates, lipids and proteins. So, in together a plasma without clotting factor is termed a serum. So, serum means plasma dinda clotting factors anna remove madidre uldiro component anna serum anta karitivi. So, that is about the first component of blood, that is plasma. Next we will have to study about the formed elements. Those are nothing but the cells which are present in the blood. Formed elements, it includes erythrocytes, leukocytes and platelets. So erythrocytes are also called RBC cells, leukocytes are also termed WBC cells, and last one is the platelets. So we will study about each of them in detail. When it comes to erythrocytes or RBCs, these are almost about 5 to 5.5 million mm³ in the blood. So that is the amount of RBC present in the blood, 5 to 5.5 million. Next, when it comes to the color, it is having red color because of the pigment called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the pigment which gives red color to the RBC cells, that is why they are termed red blood corpuscles. Next is, these RBCs are enucleated and biconcave in structure. So a RBC will be having like this kind of structure, or you can say this kind of structure. That means the middle part will be thinner compared to its periphery, and it is circular enucleated structure. The lifespan of a single RBC is for 120 days, and after 120 days they go to the spleen, and that is considered as their graveyard. So RBCs help in transport of gases. Those gases what are transported, we have already learnt, it will be carbon dioxide and oxygen. So this erythrocytes or RBCs, or you can also call them red blood corpuscles. Their amount is 5 to 5.5 million mm³, and they have a pigment which gives them red color, that is what is hemoglobin. These are enucleated biconcave structure. Their lifespan is for 120 days, and after 120 days they reach the spleen to get destructed. That is why spleen can be considered as the graveyard of RBCs. These help in transport of gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen. Next is WBC cells or leukocytes, or you can also call them white blood corpuscles. These WBCs, these are almost 6,000 to 8,000 mm³ or mm inverse 3. So that is the amount of WBC which is present in the blood. So when it comes to their function, these are defensive in function, or they help in enriching our immunity. These are nucleated and are of, based on the shape of the nucleus, they are of 5 different types. So they can be classified into granulocytes and agranulocytes. So WBC cells are 6,000 to 8,000 mm inverse 3 in number. When it comes to their function, these are defensive. These are having nucleus, and based on the shape of the nucleus, they are classified into 5 different categories, and based on the presence of granules in the cytoplasm, they can be considered into 2 categories, that is granulocyte and agranulocytes. As the name suggests, WBC, that means white blood corpuscles, these are non-pigmented, do not have any pigments. So let us study about the 2 different types, that is granulocytes and agranulocytes, and which are further classified into 3 different types. First one is neutrophil. Second one is eosinophil. And the third one is basophil. These are the three different types of granulocytes. Now when it comes to agranulocytes, they are of two different types. That will be lymphocytes and the last one will be monocyte. So these are the 5 different types of WBC cells, where granulocytes are of 3 types, that will be neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils, whereas agranulocytes are lymphocytes and monocytes. When it comes to granulocytes, the first category is neutrophil, and the neutrophils have multi-lobed nucleus, which you can clearly see here. These are multi-lobed nucleus in structure, and their percentage will be almost about 65 to 70%, and their function will be phagocytosis. Phagocytosis ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದಾದರೂ foreign substances ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆದರೆ these neutrophils will engulf them and destroy them within the cell. ಅಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು we call neutrophils having phagocytic function. Next one is eosinophil. Eosinophil have bilobed nucleus. You can see a bilobed nucleus which is present in the eosinophil. When it comes to the eosinophil, they have bilobed nucleus, and this bilobed nucleus or this eosinophil helps in functioning when there are allergens in your body. When the amount of allergens increases in your body, these eosinophils are released as a defensive mechanism, and their amount will be 2 to 3% in the body. Last one is basophil. They have a nucleus which is S in shape. Their number is 0 to 1%. Just like eosinophil, these are also released when there are allergens in the body. They have the ability of secreting histamines, heparin and serotonin, and are showing inflammatory functions. So these are the function of basophil. So basophil have a S-shaped nucleus. These also acts in the same way as eosinophils. When there are allergens in the body, they secrete histamine, heparin and serotonin, and are also showing inflammatory functions. These 3, if you observe, you can find their cytoplasm contains granules. That is why these 3 are considered granulocytes. Next one is agranulocyte, where you can see 2 different types. One is lymphocyte and another is a monocyte. When it comes to lymphocyte, there are 2 different types, B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. B lymphocyte means these lymphocytes are produced from the bone marrow. ಹೇಗೆ RBC cells bone marrow ಇಂದ produce ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದೇ ತರ these lymphocytes are also, that is especially B lymphocytes are also produced from the bone marrow. Whereas T lymphocyte, this is produced from one more organ which is called thymus. As they are produced from thymus, they are named T lymphocyte. As this is produced from bone marrow, this is termed B lymphocyte. So if you observe both of the lymphocytes, you can see that they have a circular nucleus and the cytoplasm is without any granules. Next, last one will be the monocyte. Monocyte also do not contain any of the granules in the cytoplasm. These have a bean shaped or kidney shaped kind of nucleus. If you compare between monocyte and lymphocyte, the amount of lymphocyte will be 20 to 25%, and when it comes to monocyte, their percentage will be 6 to 8%. Both of the lymphocyte and monocyte shows defensive function, where monocyte shows a function which is similar to that of neutrophils. That would be phagocytosis. So these are about different types of WBC cells which shows defensive mechanism in human body. So they will be of 6,000 to 8,000 mm³ in number. They are defensive in function without any pigments. These are nucleated, and based on the presence of this different shaped nucleus and cytoplasmic granules, they can be classified into granulocytes and agranulocytes, where granulocytes are neutrophils with multilobed nucleus and phagocytic function, eosinophils with bilobed nucleus, basophils with S-shaped nucleus, where eosinophils will be 20 to 25% and basophil will be 0 to 1%. Both of them are released during allergens which affect our body. So basophil also have the ability to secrete histamine, heparins as well as serotonin. They show inflammatory function. When it comes to agranulocytes, they are of two types, lymphocytes and monocytes. Lymphocytes have a circular nucleus. Based on which location these lymphocytes are produced, they are classified into two different types. B lymphocytes are produced from bone marrow and T lymphocytes are produced from thymus. Both are defensive in nature. Their amount will be somewhere around 20 to 25%. Last one is monocyte, which do not contain any granules in the cytoplasm, just like lymphocyte. They have a nucleus which is bean shaped. Their function is similar to that of neutrophils, that is phagocytic function. So that's about different types of WBC. Last one will be the platelet. Platelets, these are produced from megakaryocytes. These are the special cells which are present in the bone marrow. These platelets are also called thrombocytes. Platelets are produced from bone marrow special cells called megakaryocytes. Platelets can also be called thrombocytes. When it comes to platelets, their number will be 1.5 lakh to 3.5 lakh. That is the total number of platelets which are present in the body. Their function is coagulation. Coagulation is nothing but clotting of blood. If the platelets do not function properly in the body, it leads to a deadly disease called hemophilia, where our body fails to clot the blood and excess loss of blood leads to death of an individual. That is what is about platelets. These are produced from megakaryocytes. These are also called thrombocytes. Their number is 1.5 lakh to 3.5 lakh in the body, and their function is coagulation or clotting. So that's about different types of components which are present in the blood. Next, we'll have to study about different types of blood groups. Blood group can be classified into two different types, that will be ABO group and RH group. ABO blood group are of four different types. So these categories or the blood group can be classified into 4 different types purely based on the presence of antigen and antibody which are present in the blood. Antigen ಹಾಗೆ antibodies ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಥರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆಗೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅನ್ನು ಎ ಬಿ ಎ ಬಿ ಓ ಅಂತ 4 ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿಯಾಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಆರ್ ಬಿ ಸಿ. ಸೊ ಆರ್ ಬಿ ಸಿ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ antigens. Are they antibodies? These are dissolved in the plasma. You can find the antibodies dissolved in the plasma, and antigens, they are present in the surface of the RBC. Now let us study how the ABO blood group has been classified into A blood group, B, AB as well as O, and what are the type of antigens and antibodies present in them. So in blood group A, the antigen A is present, which I will be representing in capital A, whereas the antibody present here, it will be anti B, which I will be representing in small letter. When it comes to B blood group, the antigen present is B and the antibody present will be anti A. When it comes to AB blood group, the antigen present is AB and there is no antibody. And when it comes to O blood group, there is no antigen but the antibody present will be anti-A and anti-B, or you can simply write it antibody AB. So this is how you can classify the blood groups into 4 different types. Here antigen and antibody have enmity. That means any antibody is produced against the antigen, so it can destroy it. Here that is why in the blood group you can see that we have written opposite antigen and antibody. For example, if A blood group has antigen A and antibody also A, this antibody will destroy the antigen A. That is the reason nature wise A blood group have antigen A and the antibody will be B. Whereas B blood group, they have antigen B and antibody A, so that there is no destruction of antigen by these antibodies. AB blood group have antigen AB and there is no antibody, whereas O blood group have antigen nil or no antigen but both the antibodies, that is anti-AB or AB. Clear? That is how the blood groups has been classified. Now coming to donating of blood. So while an individual donates, these process through which the blood is donated to an individual by other individual. The person who gives the blood is called a donor and the person who receives the blood is called a recipient. So while a donor donates the blood and a recipient receives it, there should be certain points kept in mind. That will be donors antigen is considered and recipients antibody is to be considered. So donor na antigen anna consider ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, recipient na antibody anna consider ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Donor na antibody it gets dissolved in the recipient's blood. So now when it comes to donating of blood or blood transfusion process, this is a technical term used to address the donating of blood or receiving of blood, that is blood transfusion. When it comes to this one, not all the blood groups can donate blood to anybody or randomly. There is a certain thing which is to be followed, as I have told you. For example, if A blood group donates blood to B blood group, whether there will be coagulation, andre clotting agutto athwa clotting agadilva. A is a donor now, so donor's antigen is considered, recipient's antibody is considered. So antibody A can easily destroy the antigen A. That is why donation of A to B blood group is not at all possible. Next, when it comes to donation of A to AB, so donor's antigen, recipient's antibody is considered. So as there are no antibodies in AB blood group, A blood group can easily donate blood to AB. So this is a successful one. There will be no coagulation. Last one is, can A blood group donate blood to O? So A blood group cannot donate blood to O because it contains anti-A, which will destroy the antigen A, which is present in A blood group. Next one is donor B. If B can donate blood to A, donor's antigen is considered, recipient's antibody is considered. As antigen B and antibody B are enmity in nature, this antibodies will easily destroy the antigen B. That is why B blood group cannot donate blood to A. B blood group can donate blood to AB because donor's antigen and recipient's antibody is considered. No antibody, no chance of coagulation. So B blood group can donate blood to AB. B blood group cannot donate blood to O because donor's antigen, recipient's antibody is considered. As it contains anti-B, it will easily destroy the antigen B. That is why, just like A blood group, they can donate blood to only AB and themselves. Next one is AB. So donor's antigen, recipient's antibody is considered. When it comes to AB donating blood to A, donor's antigen, recipient's antibody. As it contains B antibody, B antigen will be destroyed. So AB cannot donate blood to A blood group. Same in case of B also, as AB antigen both are present and anti-A is present here, which will destroy the antigen A. So even AB blood group cannot donate blood to B. Last category is O. AB, the antigen and antibody both are present, that is why they even cannot donate blood to O. But they can receive blood group from their own blood group. AB can donate blood to only AB person. Last category is O. So what is here? It is very easy, as there are no antigens at all, they can donate the blood to any one of them. So either to A, either to B, either to AB or to themselves. Now when it comes to A blood group, they can donate blood to AB and themselves. When it comes to B blood group, they also can donate blood to AB and themselves. AB blood group can donate blood only to AB and O can donate blood to A, B, AB and O. This is how they can donate the blood. So when it comes to the blood group AB here, they can accept blood from all the 4 groups. That is why AB blood group is called universal recipient. These are called universal recipient, that is AB, because they can receive blood from anybody. Now when it comes to O blood group can donate blood to A, B, AB as well as O. That is why O can be considered as universal donor. O blood group is considered as universal donor because they can give blood to any of the 4 blood groups, where AB can receive the blood from any of the 4 groups. The receiving and donating process is purely dependent on the antigen and antibody present, where donor has to be considered with its antigen and recipient has to be considered with its antibody, so that the antigen and antibody reaction leads to coagulation. If the coagulation takes place, then there is no chance of blood transfusion. It is a failed process. If coagulation or clotting doesn't take place, then the blood transfusion will be a successful one. That is about 4 different types of blood groups or ABO blood group. Next category is RH group. When it comes to RH group, what happens in RH group is you will be identifying the RH positive and RH negative. So if the RH positive means they should have antigen which is present on the RBC. So almost in a population about 90% of people will be having this antigen on their RBC, who can be considered to have positive blood group. Whereas RH negative, these do not contain any antigen on the RBCs. Now when it comes to the antibodies responsible for this antigen, these are not naturally found. But when a positive and negative blood mixes up, artificially antibodies can be produced in the individual. So that is about RH positive and RH negative. This was initially identified in a rhesus monkey, which were also similar to that of human beings. So RH positive and RH negative can be differentiated based on the RH antigen which is present on the RBC. If the blood group contains this antigen, then the blood can be considered as a positive blood group. If this antigen is not present, then he or she can be considered to have a negative blood group. When it comes to this antigen, for this antigen there are no natural antibodies produced. This can be artificially produced when the antigen comes in contact with the blood which is negative. That is about RH group. When it comes to RH positive and negative mixing of blood, there is a common disease which can be taken into consideration. That will be erythroblastosis fetalis. Erythroblastosis fetalis, it is a hemolytic disease. Hemolytic disease means when a father is having positive blood group and a mother is having negative blood group, and when they produce their first child, which has, it may be a male or a female, it also has a positive blood group. What happens here is when the first child is born, during delivery, if the positive blood group of the child mixes up with the negative blood group of the mother, in mother artificially RH antibodies are produced against the RH antigens. So if a father is having positive blood group and mother is having negative blood group, they produce a first child which has positive blood group. During parturition, if the positive blood group of the child mixes up with the mother having negative blood group, mother tanna body ಒಳಗಡೆ ಆರ್ಟಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ RH ಆಂಟಿಬಾಡೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳೆ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ದ RH ಆಂಟಿಜನ್. ಸೊ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಮಗುವಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಎಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವೈ ನಾಟ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಡಾಮಿನೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಎರಡನೇ ಮಗುವಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ತಾಯಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಈ RH ಆಂಟಿಬಾಡೀಸ್ಗಳು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಥ್ರೂ ಪ್ಲಾಸೆಂಟಾ ದಿಸ್ ಆಂಟಿಬಾಡೀಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಯ್ ದ RH ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್. So first child there will be no problem, because to produce this antibodies artificially it takes almost about 6 months. So ಎರಡನೇ ಮಗು ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂದರೆ RH ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ ಎರಡನೇ ಮಗುವಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರೆ ಈ RH ಆಂಟಿಬಾಡೀಸ್ಗಳು ಆ RH ಆಂಟಿಜನನ್ನು ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಯ್ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಯ್ ಮಾಡ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಯ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ RBC ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಯ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. If RBC cells starts to destroy, the liver will have to function a lot to produce new RBC cells. Liver ಜಾಸ್ತಿ RBC cells ಅನ್ನು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ ಹಾಗೆ spleen also will have to increase its size, because I have told you that spleen is considered to be the graveyard of RBC cells which collect all the dead RBCs. Both the liver and spleen have to function in higher amount. So liver also produces bilirubin and biliverdin in higher amount. So magu hudta jaundice baruvantaha chances irutte. In severe cases of liver and spleen damage, the child might also be dead. So that is why, for avoiding this negative and positive blood group mixing up, so what can be done is injection called RhoGAM can be given. Within the 72 hours of delivery, this RhoGAM in the child produces a protective covering against this RH antigen, so that the antibodies do not destroy this RBC cells. 72 hours of delivery ಆಗೋತ ಒಳಗಡೆ RhoGAM ಅನ್ನೋ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮಗುವಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ, then they provide a protective covering around the child RBC, so that the mother antibody do not destroy this particular RH antigen. That is how you can save the baby if the mother is having negative blood group as well as the RH antibody. So that is about the disease erythroblastosis fetalis. Once again to discuss, if a father is having positive blood group and a mother is having negative blood group, the first child they bear will be positive because of the dominance. And after the parturition, if at all the mother and child blood mixes up, artificially in the mother's body, they will start producing RH antibody against the RH antigen. So first delivery or for the first child, there won't be any problem. Later what happens is, if the couple plan for a second child, the second child apart from their sex, they will be having positive blood group because of the dominance. This positive blood group will now be affected by the RH antibody produced in the mother's body, and this RH antibody to produce artificially takes almost about 6 months. So 6 months aada nantara this antibodies will be ready, and in the second child they will be easily affecting the child's RBC. When the RBC with the antigen gets destroyed, the liver and spleen have to work hard to produce larger number of RBCs, and spleen should be ready to accept many dead RBCs. So liver will be producing immature RBCs and spleen will be collecting all the dead RBCs. So in together the size of the liver and spleen starts to increase. Once they start to increase their size, their ability to produce, especially the liver, produces higher amount of bilirubin and biliverdin pigments, which gives yellow color to the fetus. That means the fetus is affected by now jaundice. Later, the child, if it is highly affected because of this bilirubin and biliverdin, the child might also be dead. So, to avoid this, within 72 hours of delivery, RhoGAM injection can be given to the child, which provides a protection against the Rh antibodies from the mother affecting the child. So, that is about the disease erythroblastosis fetalis. So, that is all in today's session. We have studied here about fluid connective tissue, that is blood, the different components of blood like plasma, platelets, erythrocytes, leukocytes, and the different types of leukocytes based on the nuclear shape, based on the granules in the cytoplasm. We did cover different types of blood groups, blood transfusion, positive and negative blood, that is based on Rh antigen or absence of antigen. Next, we have also covered a particular disease which is caused due to mixing of a positive and negative blood group, that is erythroblastosis fetalis. In next class, we will be studying about types of circulation, coagulation of blood, about the lymph tissue and human circulatory system. Thank you.